Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 24th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move on to the roll call of members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Here.
Becky McClure. Present. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes then from our previous meeting.
2 meetings.
2 meetings, thank you, correct. Are there any proposed changes to the minutes? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our previous 2 meetings, which is December 13th and 110.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes for 12/13 and 110.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, those minutes are approved. All right, move on to department head reports. First up, Police Department. We have Major Hood tonight.
Good evening, Scott Hood, Lebanon Police Department. In the time since the last Police Department report, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 597 calls for service and effected 22 arrests. Those arrests were for the following charges: 9 wanted on warrants, 5 operating while intoxicated, 3 possession of methamphetamine, 2 resisting law enforcement, 1 intimidation, 1 forgery, 1 carrying a handgun without a license. The department has received 5 gun permit applications. Recently, the Lebanon Police Department was recognized by the Lexapol Connect program for achieving silver level for consistently and effectively disseminating policies to officers, issuing timely policy updates as laws change, and ensuring officers are trained on these policies. This excellence by our police department officers in policy training continues to enhance community safety by ensuring consistent, effective response based on national best practices. Last week, I was able to complete a 2-day grant proposal writing course, which was hosted at our police department. It was attended by 6 other law enforcement agencies. Hopefully, in the days and weeks ahead, our intent is to identify potential grants to aid in our funding. And finally, please join me in offering congratulations to Officer Austin McCloskey and his wife Hannah on the birth of their daughter, Sarah Grace McCloskey.
Very good.
Are there any questions?
Any questions for Major Hood from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. Next up will be Fire Department. Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety, Lebanon Fire has made 146 emergency calls for service, logged 258 training hours, performed 6 commercial pre-plans, and completed 79 commercial inspections. On Friday, January 21st, personnel from LFD, the Lebanon Utilities, and Adams Electric worked to install a replacement tornado siren at the location of Triangle Asphalt and Sam Ralston Road. The next one on the list is the one located out by the Flying J truck stop that has already been removed, and we're working to get that new siren installed. This has been a long process, over 6 months, and that was due to stock shortages for the items that we needed. So we have this project up and moving, and hopefully it'll be completed by spring. I have no doubt that it will be. All during the month of January, crews will be out training on ice and cold water rescue. Special thanks to Subaru and Don Geisler for allowing LFD to train at their facilities. And finally, I have our 2021 service report completed. Lebanon Fire made 2,765 emergency calls for service, logged 8,381 training hours. And a quick explanation on that, that's a combination of emergency medical training and fire and rescue training. NFPA 1001 mandates that all fire service personnel has to meet 192 training hours per year. And the authority having jurisdiction is the one that maintains that. So we're actually exceeding that by about 30 or 40 hours per employee. So very happy with that statistic. Over 2021, we installed 30 car seats, and we had 750 inspections, TAC meetings, and consultations, and finally 72 pre-plans. So very happy with our productivity during 2021.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board?
Nope.
Anything from the public? Thank you, sir. Next will be Parks and Recreation. John Messenger.
Good evening. Seashore Waterpark is now hiring for lifeguards and concession stand workers. Anyone 15 years of age may apply. Open interviews will take place on Saturday, January 29th and Saturday, February 12th from 10 to 3 at the park office. For further information about those positions, just contact our office, please, or look at our website. All the Christmas decorations have finally been taken down and stored for the season. Kind of sad. They looked really nice down there on the square. I think we'll all agree. Subsurface has started the site work in Memorial Park. The contractor's there, and installation of our all-inclusive playground. They got quite a bit of good work done. Obviously, these next couple days will be tough, but let's cross our fingers, hope this weather holds. Setco is also preparing to start working on Memorial Park lighting, getting all the T's crossed and I's dotted. I want to thank Cornerstone Deb Schmucker for helping us out on all that work on all that. Those projects. Trees R Us started today, clearing the invasive species and the dead and dying trees down at Abner Longley at the Conservation Pond. That project should take about 3 to 4 weeks. Looks really good. They got a lot done. I was surprised in just one day, but going to change it down there. It's really going to look nice. HWC, we held a kickoff meeting this morning for Seashore Waterpark Master Plan, looking at expansion. Just a plan, no architectural or anything like that, but we'll have some renderings. We got a lot of good feedback back in July, August. We ran a little survey. We had over 450, I think, people that filled out the surveys, got a lot of input, and I was surprised. I think 30% of them actually added on their suggestions, which is pretty good, rather than just checking all the dots to actually fill out the comments. But looking forward to moving forward on that project. As we go forward, it's probably about 6 months. We will ask the public's input and have some public open hearings so we can get more input from them. But we'll try and narrow it down to a few things and go off a lot of the survey questions that we had. We started removing 3 trees down at the hot pond today now that the ground's frozen. Kurt Freshhowers is helping us because those are leaning over houses, and we needed his help with that. Had another donation today, a second tree that Jan Gerson, she had helped us out in the fall. She thought that back 40 was a little bare, so she had her landscaper come out and plant a tree. Approved it through the Parks Department, the right size and all that. She thought it was pretty lonely, so she had him come back out, and he planted another tree today. Thought that was pretty good, but she's a real good park friend. Also, Bert Wiesnant, I think he's a newcomer to Lebanon, not too long ago, retiree, still busier and all get out, but he's stepped up to the plate to help us volunteer on a tree identification program. Wanted to do this for quite some time, and I want to thank him for his help with this project. We'll be identifying all the trees around the parks, and he's all in, and I appreciate all his time that I'll be leaning on him. Alan, you know that all too well, don't you? Becky, I think the help that you've done there. All full-time positions have been filled, with our last spot being filled by Aaron Mcmaster. Aaron is an LHS grad and attended University of Southern Indiana. Aaron, along with his wife and 2 children, reside here in Lebanon. Really happy to have him join our park family. We recently posted our Snowman building contest. Guess what? We don't have any snow, of course, and I think everybody's okay with that.
Let's keep it that way, please.
Be sure to submit your pictures to the parks in Lebanon and by February 25th for a chance to win a prize. We had a great turnout last year and hoping to have a great turnout this year. We also have a survey going on that I'd like for our 5-year master plan. That's also another project we have. Any input you can get. It seems like every time somebody speaks about it, we post it on all our social media, Instagram, your Facebook, on our website. Please just take a few minutes and fill out that survey. It really helps us to know what everybody wants in the community, and Every time we speak or anybody speaks about it, it seems like we have quite a big bump, so there I am, I'm plugging that again. If you could put any input in there, we sure do appreciate your time for it. And that's all I had.
Okay, thank you, John. Any questions for John from the board?
I got one question, John.
Yes,
Since we got very little snow, are we allowed to go out of state where they got snow?
Yeah,
to
no,
make
I think we got a real little tiny one today. It's like hilarious. It's like, yeah, hey, if that's, yeah, go up north if you want. Have fun with it, yeah.
We'll take a little background of city of downtown Lebanon.
That's right. Whatever it takes. Those
You're
big
breaking my rule of not saying the S word in the public meetings. We're trying to, we'll get a big one now, and I'm going to blame you two, so.
I'm sorry.
Any other questions for John from the board? Any questions from public? Okay, thank you, John. Next up, Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Thank you. Good evening. Engineering report for this week. Happy to report that our contracts for our 2022 paving projects are now all executed. Documents have all been circulated. Just waiting on obviously warmer weather to get going on those projects. Other updates from around the city. Let's jump over to Whit Road. Remind everyone that bridge construction is still planned for this year, starting June 1st and wrapping up in 1st of August as the kids are out of school. We'll have some things for further consideration later tonight. Essentially, when we submitted that project for grant funding, we had put together an MOU with the county that if we were successful, they would accept that into their maintenance program. And tonight we will be also trying to get approval on an agreement related to the inspection and construction of that, which is just taking that MOU to the next step and to the next level as we near construction. On the Whit Road project, things are still moving there. Remind everyone we submitted to the federal call for projects for fiscal year 2027. Which would include the reconstruction of Whit Road from Lafayette Avenue north to just north of Austin Drive, including a new roundabout at Lafayette Avenue. We've had our interview with NDOT. We're just waiting to hear final decisions there. I would expect those probably sometime in February. But we are also still continuing with right-of-way acquisition for sidewalk construction, trying to fill the gaps there that we have in the sidewalk system. It's really primarily so we can safely get kids down the road and down to Lafayette Avenue where we've done sidewalk projects and down to Harney Elementary. Other bridge projects, Elmwood, we are going to go out and seek grant funding, community crossing grant funding, just like we did for the Whit Road Bridge. That application is actually due this week with there's some further actions tonight from City Council on a financial commitment letter associated with that that grant application, excuse me. And we're also, later in this meeting, we will be considering an MOU between us and the county for the acceptance and maintenance of that bridge. So same process before. There's two agreements. One is an MOU to take over the maintenance of that if and when we get the bridge constructed, and two, then there's a construction and maintenance agreement that follows afterwards. Other projects, Grant Street. Remind everyone, Phase 1 is right around the corner. That's from Washington to Fordyce. NDOT has set our letting date for May 5th. Right-of-way acquisitions are continuing. We're trying to get those all wrapped up by the end of February or the 28th of February. And remind everyone that project will be built in two phases. This year, while school is out, we will be reconstructing William Street from the bridge just west of Ann Street to the edge of the intersection with Grant Street. And then next year, we'll do the full reconstruction of Grant Street from and including the intersection of Washington up to the south edge of the intersection with Fordyce. VS Engineers have been selected as our construction inspector on that project, and hopefully we'll see that moving forward here in May and then into the summer as we begin construction. Grant Street Phase 2 is also out there. That is to continue that project from Washington Street south to Indianapolis Avenue. That has also been submitted for the federal call for fiscal year 2027. We've had our interview with NDOT. Things went well there. I think that project really rises to the top in the application process because we've already done a lot of the environmental documents already done the archaeological studies, already done the other things that are needed to expedite that project. So we're hopeful that even though we're talking about fiscal year 2027, because those environmental documents are already complete, we will be able to expedite that project and hopefully take advantage of exchange fund programs that the state offers. But we got a long way to go on that. We'll keep you posted as that moves forward. That is phase 2 of Grant Street. Fordyce Road, Fordyce Street in that same area of town. Right-of-way acquisition is moving forward. Keep in mind this is a 2024 project at the earliest. We had a good coordination meeting with our engineers and right-of-way acquisition professionals last week. We're going to continue to move forward with that. We're also revisiting the issues associated with driveways and parking that are impacted by the construction of the path on the north side of that project, particularly between Park Street and Grant Street. So we're looking at some redesigns there and getting that to our engineers and then back out to our acquisition professionals in the coming weeks. Big Four Trail, happy to report our deed restrictions that are required per the state of Indiana associated with our Next Level Trails grant program is all complete. Contracts with Calumet Civil Contractors have been executed. Notices to proceed will be issued shortly. Clark Dietz has been approved as our construction inspector, and we will be looking to file have a pre-construction meeting with the contractor and Clark Dietz in the coming weeks, all in anticipation of spring construction. The bike park plans are still being finalized and working through approvals with IDEM. At this point, that is our main focus. We still have approvals that we have to work through with the county on the administrative side of things. We're also continuing our fundraising efforts, and we had a good conversation, the mayor and I, with people that are considering donating all the earthwork needed for the park. So we met with them last week. So good things happening there, and more to come in the next couple weeks as we get closer to hopefully a spring bidding and summer construction. From our inspection department, just a few updates. Inspections over the last 2 weeks. And I got to thank Mr. Calvert for this because he's been doing this while he's been out sick. But, you know, you can quarantine in a truck and do site inspections, so it's worked out well. We've done 16 SWIP inspections in this period, 3 right-of-way permit inspections, inspected 1 complaint, and we have reopened an illicit discharge complaint and are working through that issue as well. Other projects around the city, though, give you some updates. The big projects on everyone's mind, the field house project in Waterford, still working through design issues with those development teams and their engineers. Smaller projects that are in various phases of construction, though, throughout the city. Cedar Ridge, remind everyone that project is paved. They're working on final lot grading and utilities and testing. Be starting model homes real shortly, and we'll see new homes going up there. On the north side of town, in the Sunbrook neighborhoods, phase 3, we're about 80% paved there, and we'll be looking at some bonding, sureties, and platting approvals later in the meeting. Sunbrook Villas phase 2, also looking at bonding and platting approvals later in the meeting. That project is completely paved at this point. Sunbrook phase 2, that one is basically under building construction at this point, under home construction. Auburn Meadows phase 3 is also under home building construction at this point. The 451 Flats project, we're complete through basically site utilities. The building is obviously going vertical if you've not noticed that. Also, we've completed the construction of the underground detention system for that project. Dunkin' Donuts, obviously that building is also going up. Autumn Trace, another building going up. Site utility improvements are really complete on both of those projects. Cold storage out in the business park is also in building construction mode at this point. Lebanon Airstream is now complete. And let's see, Key Car Wash, happy to see the Key Car Wash part pieces start coming in on trucks and being lifted into place. I think that's going to look real great and be a nice addition to the city. And then a couple other smaller projects, the IMI plant expansion on South Indianapolis Road, that is moving forward. Grading and storm sewer is complete at this point. And then the last but certainly not least is the Brakeman Building project, which interior demolition has started on the old Men's Recovery Home, and hopefully we'll see exterior demolition continue here in the coming weeks. That is all I have.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin from the board? Anything from the public? Thank you, sir. Next, do we not have a planning report to Ben?
We do not.
Okay. So we'll get an update on the planning department next meeting. Next up then will be Street and Stormwater Department. Dave Newell.
How's everybody doing? Glad to be here than pushing snow. I'm glad you're not having a good snowman contest, no offense, but
Push it all up in one pile, will you?
I did get a picture from a friend from South Carolina. They had a snowman, but they don't usually get it. Let's see, we finally got the flashing light on Elm Swamp Road fixed. It took a while to get parts, so hopefully nobody tears that up again, but we got her back in action. Been pretty busy with sign repairs, just mostly from accidents, really. That's normal stuff there, but it just seems like we've had a few more here lately. We did receive a big shipment of our Tiger Street signs, so seems like it's 2 seasons in a row, I think, that came in. So once the ground starts thawing out, we'll be ready to take off with that, and then we'll also be adding what we ordered at the beginning of the season, hopefully. So I know they had a lot of problems with 3M tape. I think that was the big holdup for it. First it was the metal, and then it was 3M tape. So hopefully we're back on that. We kind of changed the plan up a little bit. We were going into additions, and it's like nobody really gets to see them other than the people. So we're still on schedule. We went, like me and Craig went all the way down 39. We're going to do 39, and we're going to make sure Indianapolis Avenue has them all, and 32. Anywhere somebody comes into the city, they'll see our Tiger signs first, and then we'll go back and kind of work our way into additions and wrap it up. We just thought it made more sense to not hide them so much as to let people see them as they're coming in the community. See, we had a tree come down. That was Thursday the 13th. There at Garfield Street and Rural Street. I mean, I think the tree was dead, but it probably didn't help that the tractor trailer hit it, so it brought it down. But it's not really that big a deal. I just wanted to thank Zors. I mean, they were great. We teamed up with them. They locked onto the tree. We cut some branches off, didn't even damage the trailer or nothing. I mean, they laid it down, and we just had since it was such a big tree, I had Kurt Freshour come out and help us get rid of it. But once it was laying down.
That was the one there on the northwest corner?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah, because I mean they had a nice white fence that would have been tore up, and we just worked good with them, and the guy knew what he was doing, so that helped out a lot. We were out salting today, this morning with roadways, and then we were out Saturday the 15th salting some roadways. We used about 36 tons of material. It took us about 3 hours. Sunday the 23rd, which was just the other day, we were out salting as well. It took 46 tons and only took 2.5 hours. We had the whole crew, so it makes a difference. A little bit of, not much time, but a lot. We'll take those salting events though over snow anytime. Just a little quicker. You can split the crews up and do it. Still picking up Christmas trees, believe it or not. We got about 3 of them today, so just hanging on to them. We would like to wish Tom Brown, our stormwater foreman, the best of luck. He turned his 2 weeks a couple weeks ago. He's been venturing out by himself, so we just wish him the best. He's been a great asset to us in the city, so you just hope he does well. The 21st was his official final day, so last Friday. On that same note, we'd like to congratulate Ryan Landrum on his new promotion as a stormwater foreman. Ryan's been with the city since August 17th of 2017. He's been on the stormwater crew the whole time, so whenever Tom had to go somewhere, Ryan filled in, so it was an obvious kind of fit, really, to be honest. We have full confidence with Ryan. He'll continue to lead his department as well as the guys in the direction we're trying to go, obviously. I would like to give a special thanks to Craig and Lana, Matt, and Tanya, because this was kind of our first time having to bring somebody in, and we wanted to do it the right way, so we put all our ducks in a row and talked to both guys. Well, we would talk to everybody and give everybody got everybody's opinion at the shop, and then we laid it all out kind of for Tanya and Matt, got an outside opinion, and they really helped us. And it's nice to work somewhere where you can get that, and it just, sometimes the outside view helps, and I mean, we were kind of leaning the way we were, and then with their help, it just kind of made a lot of sense, so it just helped us out, and we appreciate it, and that's all I got.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave from the board?
I don't have a question, but I just want to make a comment. I wanted to thank you for bird dogging and staying on that light up on Elm Swamp. I know you fought that for a long time. It does really make a difference, I will tell you, so thank you.
It would have been a overnight fix, you know, if it wasn't for material, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. We were, you know, you'd almost forget about it. It's been so long, and then you're like, it's been like 6 months we're trying to. So I figured you'd notice at first that you live over there, but we did finally get it.
Thank you, Dave. Any other questions? Anything from the public? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, Communications and Community Development, Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. Going to attempt to use the overhead projector here again, and hopefully it doesn't. Zoom out a little bit. That's as far as I'm going to get. Okay. A couple of dates to pass along. I didn't want to flood your inbox and social media with all the dates at once, so I'm going to give another date, a third date to kind of put on your calendars. The first two pertain to what the handout is here, or the overhead projector image is here, our Community Creatives Call Out. The first one will be on Wednesday, February 9th, the second on Thursday, March 10th, and it'll be held from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. at the Craft Room, and that's located at 117 North Meridian Street, right next to Sampson Family Leather. The purpose of this call out that's being put together by our intern, our community development intern Riley Jum, and myself, are helping to organize and flesh out some of our creatives and put some examples of the creatives there on the overhead that's bleached out a little bit there. Artists, musicians, actors, poets, artisans, idea people, for those of us that aren't exactly skilled in the realm of poetry or woodworking, but are idea people. We're looking for anyone that falls in that creatives category. And so we're wanting to have all of our creatives in the area come out from their garages or their basements, or kind of the things that they do on the weekend is in their spare time, their hobbies, to be able to get out and meet and greet other creatives within our community, help flesh some of those folks out. We want to get their opinions on how we can celebrate the arts and culture within our community, and we would also like to get their thoughts and opinions on the potential of creating a cultural district or a cultural trail. And so really would love the public's help with this. And again, the two dates are the 9th of February, the 10th of March from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. A free to attend event. This is a very fun, lighthearted. There'll be some icebreakers and some fun things to kind of help mix and mingle folks within our community in the creative realm. The third date I'd like to pass along is what we're calling a Creation Day. And that Creation Day will be on Wednesday, February 23rd from 6 until 8. You may remember when we had the Ocean Escape Mural along Lafayette Avenue. We had a Saturday where the public was invited to come out with our artist, Scott Trafford, where members of our public were able to actually put brush and roller on the canvas where the mural is located now. We're going to do something similar throughout the different creative realms within our community. So on Wednesday, February 23rd from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m., we'll be back at the Craft Room. So we want to have that kind of be home base for what we're doing with this particular initiative. But this will be a come-and-go leatherworking event. And so folks that have never experienced or held or made anything with leather before, really getting the chance to use their hands, make a memory, make it a date night, make it a family night, all free of charge. The city is picking up the tab for this and want to be able to kind of get folks out free of charge to kind of have a lighthearted approach and maybe experience something they've never experienced before, and who knows, maybe kind of stimulate something within them that helps them get on that creative pathway themselves. Again, that date is Wednesday, February 23rd from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. It's a free come-and-go experience to be able to maybe develop an interest in this. Both endeavors, incidentally, were discussed and have been released on episode number 66 of our Love in Lebanon podcast. We had intern Riley Jump, Lebanon High School senior, and also Abby Sampson, who heads up the Craft Room, as the latest members on our podcast. So I want to be able to to have folks experience that, listen to that. If you're a regular attender and watcher of the public access channel, you probably heard about a lot of the dates, and you'll be hearing more about the Creation Day coming up. Finally, want to share the full page content, not the full page ad, but the full page content that'll be in Travel Indiana Magazine to start the first quarter of this year. And so this will be in Travel Indiana. We're working on a similar Hey Neighbor representation with our friends at Indianapolis Monthly for more of a digital platform that'll go out to the surrounding area throughout the year. We want to bring your attention to kind of the crux of this whole thing. You can see Lebanon as your map point right here. We've said it before several times that when we had our rebranding campaign, one of the firms that we're potentially going to work with went down to the circle. Folks couldn't find Lebanon, Indiana. They couldn't pronounce it, yada, yada. Well, what we want to do is as part of the educational piece, we're putting Lebanon as kind of the center of the universe, so to speak, on this map, within the proximity to area major municipalities. So, hey, we're simply 28 minutes from Indianapolis. We're 25 from Noblesville, that type of thing. And so wanted to help educate the public. And so this will be in physical form in the magazine. The QR code here will take you in this first iteration, will take you to the city's website. A web page is currently under development that is a Visit Lebanon, Indiana rather, web page. And so we're going to kind of rework that QR code for the future endeavors of our marketing campaign, where it's going to be more so of a tourism type piece online. So folks will be able to see the pretty pictures of folks smiling and seeing all the great things that Lebanon has to offer, and then they'll be able to scan the QR code and get kind of a closer look at that. Also, we'll be looking at developing some billboard advertising as well. So we'll have some images that will fit similar to this, the Hey Neighbor campaign, but it'll be obviously, this is portraits. We want to make it landscape so it fits on a billboard. And so you'll physically be able to go up on I-69 and be able to see this billboard and put your phone up and be able to scan that QR code on a billboard and be able to have it take you to, hey, how about you visit Lebanon, Indiana type thing. I remember several years ago the mayor kind of threw out a billboard concept that went something like, if you lived in Lebanon, you'd be home by now, that type of deal. We want to be able to kind of take that and put it in physical form so folks in Hendricks County, folks in Hamco can be able to see their neighbors and the great things that are going on. And so looking forward to rolling those things out as the year goes on.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? No. Okay, appreciate it. Anything for the public? All right, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. I don't have anything on my agenda. Is there anything from the board?
No.
Okay, new business then. First item up is the title sheet signatures for Grant Street Phase 1. Kevin?
Thank you very much. You have to get used to me being up here. I have 8 items, I think, under new business.
I've noticed.
This is an easy one. So on the table in front of you is the cover sheet for the Grant Street Phase 1 projects. I'm just asking that you make a motion to approve this cover sheet, and then there is a signature block for all of you to, as members of the Board of Public Works, the contracting entity for the city, to sign this cover sheet. This is really sort of the last thing we do before we submit our final plans to NDOT for the letting in May.
Okay. Any questions for that from the board?
I'll make a motion, we approve the cover sheet for the Grant Street Phase 1 project.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second from Bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that's approved, and be sure to sign that before you guys leave. All right, next up will be the Bridge Construction Maintenance Memorandum of Understanding with Boone County. And this is for the Elmwood Bridge.
Yeah, I'll probably talk at, let's take the Elmwood Bridge first. So, as I mentioned earlier, last year about this time, we entered into a Memorandum of Understanding, an MOU, if you will, with the county related to construction and maintenance of the Whit Road Bridge. So this is an identical agreement, other than we've changed the words Whit Road for Elmwood and other revisions that were necessary. But substantively, the agreement is the same. This is the same MOU that we had previously worked through and approved. We're asking you to adopt and execute this Memorandum of Understanding for the Elmwood Bridge. And I do have that one before you. Not to put anyone in a rush, but I would like to have this signed tonight if it was approved, so that we can get into our grant applications, which are due on Friday.
Any questions from the board on that? Okay. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to, is it, who all signs? Is it the entire board or just me?
Actually, I would have you authorize the mayor, and then Tanya will attest to the signature.
Okay, so then would entertain a motion to approve the MOU relating to the Elmwood Bridge and authorizing the mayor to sign on the board's behalf.
I would move the approval of the Elmwood Bridge Memorandum of Maintenance and authorize the mayor to sign.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Motion and second from Judge McClure. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved.
Thank you.
All right, construction maintenance agreement with the Whit Road Bridge now.
Yes, so we're jumping back to Whit Road, so this is basically phase 2 in the MOU process. This is just a construction and maintenance agreement between the city and the county that is associated with the construction, inspection, final acceptance of the Whit Road Bridge. Again, we worked through this legally last year. We just never executed it because it wasn't needed to be executed, but now we do need to do that as we're going into construction. Side note, there will be a similar agreement that would be executed for the Elmwood Bridge later on as it comes to that. So this, before you for your consideration, is the bridge construction and maintenance agreement for the Whit Road Bridge, and I would ask that the approval be authorized the mayor to execute the agreement.
Any questions or concerns for Kevin on that item? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the bridge construction and maintenance agreement concerning the Whit Road Bridge.
I make a motion, we approve the bridge construction and maintenance agreement for Whit Road Bridge.
Can you also authorize the mayor to sign on the board?
Authorize the mayor to sign.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you, Kevin. Next up, I have surety bond release and replacement for Section 1.
Yes,
Is that right?
so we're talking about Sunbrook Section 1 that was completed a couple of years ago, and they've now completed some of the items that were under performance bond. So there's two sort of bonding regimes when we complete a project, and there are performance bonds and maintenance bonds. Just to give you a quick overview, performance bonds are for the things that they have yet to have performed. Maintenance bonds are for the work that has all been completed and accepted. So when they platted that section a couple years ago, there were a few things left on performance that are now acceptable to the city, and we are just asking for your approval to release those performance bonds, replace them with maintenance bonds, and just execute those on behalf of the city with the execute and coordinate those on behalf of the city with the developer, which is Gradison Development.
Any questions for Kevin on that? Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to release the surety bonds and replace them with maintenance bonds for Sunbrook Section 1.
I'll make a motion, we approve the release of the surety bond and acceptance of a maintenance bond for Sunbrook Section 1, correct?
Okay. We have motions. There a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All those there say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. And then I have, all right, make sure I do this. Sorry, we got a lot of Sunbrook things here.
Yeah.
So we've got, do we have Villas Section 2 and Section 3 both? Is that right, Kevin?
We have basically, those would need to be taken as separate items, but these are secondary plat approvals and associated sureties, associated bonding with those secondary plats. Authorizing us administratively to work with the developer to accept the final bond forms and approve the plat. And this is for Sunbrook Villas Section 2 and Sunbrook Section 3. Both are the same action that we will be taking, approval and acceptance of the secondary plat and the associated sureties.
Any questions on either of those for Kevin? Okay. At this time, then, I'll entertain a motion to approve the secondary plat and related sureties for Sunbrook Villas Section 2.
So move.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Second from the judge. All those say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. And we'll entertain a motion for the similar motion, secondary plat approval and related sureties for Sunbrook, Section 3.
Make a motion, we approve secondary plat approval and securities for Sunbrook Section 3.
We have motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Dick. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. And then we have right-of-way dedication limited access agreement, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a development that's technically outside of city limits, but the north edge of the development abuts a city right-of-way. So this is the Hub I-65 project. This is the large industrial park that's being constructed west of the 267 interchange. West of 267, as you go south of that interchange, you've probably seen the new large warehouses going up out there. And that current section that they're under development on comes all the way up to 400 South, which is a city right-of-way. So the subdivision, the industrial park, is not in city limits, so there's no secondary platting for them to create a mechanism to dedicate right-of-way. So this is a separate right-of-way dedication and limited access right-of-way agreement. These agreements have already been approved and approved by our legal team. There is no execution. This is only executed by the developer, but we are asking for your acceptance of those so the developer can record those and then reference those on their plats that will be filed in the county but are platted under Zionsville's guidelines.
So it would essentially be our right-of-way because it's adjacent to our road.
Exactly. So we're doing this separate from a plat because we don't have a mechanism to sign a plat that is being approved by the Board of Works of Zionsville.
Right.
So what's going to happen is these documents will be executed and recorded, and then they will be depicted and referenced on the Zionsville secondary plat that is recorded.
So they're dedicating the right-of-way to us,
They're
right?
dedicating the right to us, not to Zionsville. That's why we're doing it before they record the plat in Zionsville.
Right.
So is the entire 400 South within the city limits or just half of the road? Or because we're adjacent to it, we take the full road?
Yes. Under Indiana code, when you annex a piece of property, you are also annexing the adjacent right-of-ways. So the right-of-way of 400, not everywhere, but adjacent
in
to
this
this
section.
project is a city right-of-way.
Kind of a unique scenario. So we'll essentially have right-of-way within the town of Zionsville.
I would say the right-of-way would be...
But if the border is
Yeah, that's a
400,
good question. I'm not for sure if we have right-of-way within Zionsville or the Zionsville limits go to the edge of our right-of-way. I leave that to...
kind of a gray area.
We'd have right-of-way to Zionsville.
But we have
Yeah, that's what I
right-of-way
think,
that
too.
we own, and that... if
On the
we
north
were
side,
to
right?
improve 400 South, we would
Yeah.
have the right-of-way needed to do so.
What would we use the right-of-way for?
If we ever need to widen that road. Basically, 400 South in that area.
Right.
This is the area west of Indianapolis Road.
Yeah.
It's basically a rural county cross-section. So at some point in the future, I think you'll see more growth and development in that area. And in
Okay.
fact, I think you'll probably see that development pattern with the developers of the Hub I-65 project probably continue north, across 400 South, and at that point, we'll already have the right-of-way on the Zionsville side, the extra right-of-way on the Zionsville side, so that we can work on improving that right-of-way at some point in the future when it's needed.
Okay.
Okay, so I kind of, probably a little bit of a divergence there, sorry for the clarification. So essentially, all we're looking for then is the acceptance of the right-of-way dedication and limited access agreement on County Road 400 South related to I-70 West. So, would entertain a motion for that.
I'll make a motion, we approve the right-of-way dedication and the limited access agreement on County Road 400 South with the I-70 West LLC.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second from Bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you, Kevin. And then do we also have the bid award recommendation from the street garage, or are we holding on that?
No, we do. We do have that. So as we were here at the last meeting, we opened the bids on the street department and stormwater department garage, and we received 7 bids, And after reviewing of the bid packages, and we've had a preliminary pre-award meeting with this, the apparent low bidder. And at this time, we would ask that Fredericks Incorporated be deemed the lowest, most responsive, and responsible bidder, and authorize us to enter into contract negotiations and issue a notice of award for that project.
Good, Rob.
Kevin, this is subject ultimately to financing as well, correct?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, any approval needs to be subject to financing approval of the project. We've already had our first bond rating call with Standard & Poor's, and so it's just a matter of time before the bonds will close on this project. I believe it's in mid to late February, February 22nd, if I remember right, is the closing date that's set. So yes, this approval would be subject to the final bond closing. But at this point, we're ready to issue a recommendation to this board to award the contract to the lowest and most responsive bidder, which was Fredericks Incorporated.
Fredericks Incorporated. Okay. So would entertain a motion to recommend the bid award of the Lebanon Street Department garage to Fredericks Incorporated, subject to final legal review and pending financial approval as well.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Fredericks Incorporated for the construction of the street department, subject to the bond, funding of the bond closing, as well as legal review as well.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Is that it, Kevin?
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from the board?
No.
Okay, we'll go on to claims, and we're entertaining a motion concerning the claims. Should we pay our bills?
Pay claims.
We have a motion to pay the claims from Dick. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we'll pay our bills. Any announcements or discussion from the board? Any general public comment? Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Judge. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Our next Board of Works meeting will be February 14th, and our city council meeting will be up next at 7:15.